Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Droppin Dimes pod. It's Friday, May 29th. Spurs OKC series is at game 6. And Doug, I'm with my main man, Doug. Doug, we're starting the pod, man. What you doing?
Oh, my bad. I'm over here sweeping up these Cavs. They got swept by the Knicks, so I had to clean up behind. Had to clean up behind them real quick. Shout out to the Knicks for that win. They swept them real bad.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
there's a lot to clean there,
I'm
man. Gosh,
James.
that was,
It was a lot of James Harden mess that was back there. I had to clean up. I'm just,
yeah, dude,
I
that
should
could
have
be,
known it was gonna
yeah,
be a
you
mess.
got to get a cleaning service for all them James
Yeah,
Harden misses.
yeah, it's crazy,
Wow,
man.
yeah, man. This is the first time we had Doug on since the Knicks swept. How's it going at the barbershop, Doug? Have you
Man,
checked in?
yeah, I have. My barber, he been messing with me. I actually messed with him. Actually, I was like, "How you feeling, man? You feeling good since your next one?" He said, "Oh, we about to win it all." So I mean, hey, we gonna see. I told him, I said we'll go to New York if they win. We'll go up there when they win the championship and everything. But he said he's not trying to do that because it's gonna be crazy up there. And I believe him. So,
Well, I hear the cops are keeping the watch parties. They closed down the watch parties.
and
Man,
they ready for everything. They got SWAT out there. That's the way they looking like. It's gonna be a riot or something like. They just making sure everything don't go crazy. But it's gonna go crazy because New York hasn't won in a long time. But like I tell everybody, New York has a big fan base, but it's just been a long time. And this is something funny, but they made it to the finals before the Cowboys. So, hey, they might get a chance before the Cowboys too. I don't know what to say. The Knicks and the Cowboys, they neck and neck. I mean, they talk the same game, man. They talk the same game, but the Knicks hate
you
it
got
now.
the bandwagon, the super
Yeah,
bandwagon fans. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, it's about to
The
be ugly,
Cowboys are
bro.
even worse, though. My God. Well, we, as a Commanders fan, we love any time you can throw shade at the Cowboys. So nice one, Doug. Okay, well, that's fun. Let's talk a little bit about this Spurs OKC series. Wow, game 6. It started out like Spurs went on a nice run, but OKC came back. The game was, it was fairly close in that first half. And then the third quarter, Spurs just came in and blanked them for
Yeah.
20 points straight, 7 minutes straight. I mean,
Okay,
the
Steve couldn't score
Thunder were
nothing.
trying. They were getting to the rim. Hardenstein's missing a shot. Wemby's getting blocks. And most of all, SGA just not getting any foul calls on his flops. To me, that's a big story of the game. Only 3 free throws. No Tony Brothers in there to bail him out.
No,
What are your thoughts?
man. Just being in San Antonio, man. San Antonio made a little difference being at home. They got they had their nuns there. Ready to cheer them on. I want to say which game was it? It was game 4 when they first showed them. I was like, oh wow, this is crazy. Like, and they blew them out. So they did it again. They're there, and they win again. I don't know, man. It's they might have to travel with them to OKC if they're gonna win it all. Then they San Antonio might have to give them a private plane and get them on there so they can be at the
So
sidelines
God
just
is on
praying
the
for
Spurs side. Is that what you're saying, Doug?
them. And at in San Antonio it was, but I don't know. It might be harder in OKC if they don't bring them nuns with them. It's gonna be kind of hard. OKC's been
Especially if
playing real good
Tony
at.
Brothers is reffing. Oh man,
Yeah,
him
because
and
game
him and
five.
Lou Dort, they got a little special chemistry going or something.
Yeah, yeah. If I want to say if they come back next game compared to game 5 when they play real good with everybody, and they also changed the lineup and put Jeremy Kane in the start lineup, it might make a little bit better for them
Well,
to
they had
win.
McCain in the starting lineup in Game 6, which was
Yeah,
interesting because Jalen Williams actually did play, but he only came out there for 10
he didn't do too
minutes.
much.
Only put up 1 shot.
Yeah,
I had kind of been talking earlier that Jalen Williams is is
he's
can
still
you can argue
recovering.
that he's somewhat of a negative, but I
Yeah,
think Now it's just he's just must be injured or something.
Yeah, he's still recovering. It's they're using him in the wrong time. I would have used him for game seven. I would have waited to game seven to play him if they couldn't win it in game six, which, now they gotta go game seven at home. But I feel like, you know, I done told a couple people this too. I feel like OKC might win this one at home. And, the crowd is really gonna play a difference unless Wemby goes for 50 and 25. That's the only thing I can see if that happens. Wemby goes off and drops 50. But SGA he's got to get his face back after that terrible game he played, and didn't get no free throw attempts. Didn't get his normal game pretty much. So him going back home might change the dynamics and might give them the edge to win and go into the finals. But it's toss up, man. It's very hard to to bet against the Spurs. But they both ready. They're both ready to win, but they're managing to adjust to situations and everything, and read the film, do the good filming, and reading over what plays need to be done and how to isolate or how to change their defensive plans up for SGA and the boys. But they gotta they gotta hold it down at home. So OKC is gonna have to hold it down at home to win and go to the finals to be the team that go for a repeat.
Yeah, so I mean I kind of agree with you. It's a little hard to put a finger on what's going on this series, and so I kind of did a little deep dive. I want to share with everyone. Um, okay, so I looked at a few factors in these 6 games that we've had. Some things I was interested in are Wemby's points because Wemby seems to be he seems to be like really aggressive one game and kind of let off the gas and then the
Hmm.
next game or something like that. So I
Yep.
want to look at that. I want to look at his jump shooting too. Um because I'm noticing when he hits threes, the team has a better chance. He was 4 for 9 last game, and then he was 0 for 5 the previous game that they lost.
Yeah.
Um, so I looked at that a little bit. But in games 2 and 3 that the Spurs lost, he was hitting his jumpers. He was his threes. He was 3 for 7, 2 for 5. So I don't know that that's really a big factor. Um, SGA's points are a bit of a factor. So SGA, even in double overtime, he only scored 24 that first game, only in 19 and 15 in the losses. And then in the wins, he's 30, 26, and 32.
Hmm.
A big part of that is free throws. So this is a factor that I really wanted to key in on. As I said, game 5, he had 17 free throws. So he made 16 of those. So basically, he had 16 points
Off a free
without
throw.
without all the free throws. I mean, that's half of his scoring of 32.
Hmm.
In game 4, he had 12 free throws. Sorry, game 3 that they also won, he had 12 free throws. That was in San Antonio.
Yep.
26 points. Game 2 that they won, he only had 6, which is kind of in line with the games that they lost where but he scored 30. So
Yeah.
he was just a little more on fire that game. I also wanted to look at like OKC's second score. So I think that that's mattered, right? So uh, obviously Jalen Williams, who we mentioned, has been out.
Hmm.
And then AJ also got injured, right?
Right.
And
Right.
he was a bit more of a factor. He's definitely a factor in the huge factor in the Lakers series. So I looked at their second score. You can see it on this column here. So basically, that first game, Caruso was amazing. He scored a lot. I mean, that went to double overtime. Could have been anyone's game. Um, the second game, he had 17 and they won. Third game that they won, McCain had 24. And then you go to only 12 for Hartenstein in that fourth
That
game.
loss.
and only 13 for McCain in a loss in last night's loss. And McCain
Mhm.
had 20 in their win. So I think that secondary score is kind of one of the most predictive things.
Yeah.
Um, I would
But it
say in
really
that game 4 where there wasn't necessarily a secondary score that was high, I'd say their whole team was really good. They had a
mhm,
lot of guys,
spreading the
with,
ball around.
yeah, scorers and the teens. So that's a thing that could be predictive. I think that's important for OKC. They need that secondary score.
Uh-huh.
AJ Mitchell, I don't think he's gonna be back. Um, so that's tough. Jalen Williams looks really hobbled, so I guess it's up to McCain, maybe
Wallace.
Caruso again.
Yeah.
Um,
Caruso. Caruso just
I
got to
think
step it up on defense a lot more though. He's really gonna have to for them to win, he's really gonna have to step it up on defense. Him and Wallace, both of them gonna have to step it up on defense to make a difference. Because I mean, if you look at it in that first game, the first two games that Caruso was dropping, having buckets, he played a consistent role on defense too, to help them in that first game they lost, but he still played his part and played defense. But in that second game, he definitely was more into this defense than he was on scoring. But when he got wide open, he took advantage of his shot. But but they're gonna have to, far as with your display right here we showing with the fast breaks, as you can tell, OKC isn't a fast break team. They're more of a half court team. And with the Spurs, I mean, they got Wemby. Wemby, all they gotta do is throw it down court. So I mean, but they are a fast break team with the guys that they have. They're ready to run. Wemby is the tallest person on the team, but also everybody else are small guards. They have some like Champagne. He's the power forward, but he's really a guard, small forward type of guy, but they got him at the
he's a
power forward
wing,
position. Yeah, so like they run. They have no they have consistent runners. I mean, OKC does, but they got Chet and Hartenstein, which are their bigs, so they slow it down for them to run their offense correctly. So yeah, that fast break points, it makes a difference too, also for the Spurs. So if they can run the Spurs, I mean, if the Spurs can run the OKC, then that will be a factor on them winning. But if OKC end up keeping them half court game and scoring off of it, then it's going to be a problem for for the Spurs to really take over and try to get those fast break buckets if OKC executes their half court plays.
Yeah, so, like, I was thinking that the Thunder are really, like, fueled by these fast break points. Their team scores a lot of turnovers,
Hmm.
and just, like, looking at these numbers, in the first game, they had a bunch, but, of course, there are 2 overtimes there, and
Yeah.
they have had less than 10 points off fast breaks, supposedly, in these last in every other game. So,
Hmm.
that wasn't as big of a factor, but I think they're still scoring off of turnovers, right? And so I
Yeah.
I looked at turnovers, and here's turnovers and points conceded, and the Spurs had a lot of turnovers those first 2 games, conceded
Hmm.
like 27, 28 points. They've been doing a lot better recently, but still in the game 5 loss, they conceded 20.
Hmm.
So even though it's interesting, the Spurs are really making a lot of fast point break points. The Thunder are still getting those points off turnovers.
Hmm.
So that matters.
Yeah, they're more consistent because when you got SGA taking his time, making sure the plays go as accordingly for either for him or for anybody else. I mean, that's how they slow their pace down, so they won't turn the ball over as much. But Spurs is putting that pressure on them too. So they doing that as soon as SGA cross over, they're making him pass the ball. So they're trying to force the turnovers with him. But sometimes with Castle, he's been in the first two games. He had 22 turnovers off that. So they've been getting on him about it to calm down on the turnovers and just play and not try to force anything. Just do what you need to do and help them win. And he's been doing that too. So it's like, but he hasn't been. consistent on scoring though. His scoring has been low, um, and everything, but he's been playing good defense too, giving SGA a hard time, scoring and, just being a dog on him, just being aggressive and just staying on him, giving him a hard time, not make him uncomfortable. And then on top of that, they've been giving out some hard fouls too. Like, um, Spurs, they I want to say in game 5 when McCain was going off, they had the bench come off and, what's my boy's name? Both of them play for the Hornets, Plumlee and what's my man's
Yambo.
name? Biombo, yeah. Both of them gave McCain a hard foul, just roughing
I
him
heard
up
all
and getting
three
him.
played at once last night.
Yeah, yeah, and they gave it to him, and it was funny because I seen a video of it, and it was like showing like how Wemby was checking out and he was dapping up Biombo and Plumlee. He whispered in one of them in one of their ears, and that's when I guess the incident happened where he fouled McCain and hurt him, or not hurt him, but fouled him real hard and everything. So they was like everybody trying to put that out there. It's like, oh, Wemby told him to go hurt him and whatnot. Be the Punisher off the bench. You can get in foul trouble. I mean, you can get a
Wait,
penalty.
who hurt McCain?
They didn't hurt him, but they fouled him real, real hard. I want to say it
Who
was
did?
both Plumlee and Biombo. It was near the
Oh,
end. It was near the end in the fourth quarter. They was giving them. They was housing them
I
down.
totally believe that conspiracy. The way you described it, that sounds yeah. Um yeah, well, I wonder how McCain responds to that.
He had 13.
Yeah, he only had
He had
13.
13. Yeah. But he might go off. He might go off at home though, man. I mean, if you think about it, he gets energized when he has the crowd behind him. So he definitely loves that energy that OKC gives them when he does score, whenever he does do something right, and the crowd get hyped and everything. It hypes him up, and his game changes. Um, and I want to say this too. I was looking at something earlier this morning, and LaMarcus Aldridge, he played with the Spurs and everything, and he said for Wemby to be for him to change up on certain things, he needs to have that number one move, that go-to move to for him to score and everything instead of doing everything because he can do everything, but he overthinks it. So with Wemby, he needs to have a play that's gonna constantly give him buckets. First, the beginning of the quarter and the end in the fourth quarter. That's gonna be a constant bucket getter move, just like how Aldridge had his post moves. He would fade back, shooting post in the middle, or either fade in the inside and go and score in the inside. Like you got to have those 1-2 punches, and a lot of these guys don't have that, but SGA does. I mean, SGA got the move that he constantly wants to do, especially when he's ISO somebody. He's got the moves to move and everything. So he got his 1-2 punch to go to the hole, and that's in the beginning and the end of the game. Which Wemby wants to do everything, wants to shoot, wants to go to the hole, wants to fade. Sometimes and he's just all over the place with it. When a veteran, he just needed that one veteran to break him down and get him to understand, hey, if you use this, you already big. Use this one play right here to get you put points when you really need it. It shouldn't be nothing else. Just like how Shaq, he was dominant. When he gets to the post, he asks for the ball, give it to him. He gonna get his points, regardless who's guarding him. So Wemby needs to be the same way and be aggressive for them to win this last game too. If he's trying to go to the championship.
I think that's a really good point. He's kind of like all energy, and and he can shoot, but it seems to rise and fall based upon his energy and whether he's
Hmm.
hitting his shots, and he doesn't
Right.
have that go-to move. Like, to your point, I mean, one of my notes for Game 5 is Hartenstein can really keep in front of him. Hartenstein, he's not as big lumbering dude as
Yeah.
and maybe we think of, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's not like Wemby can really get by him even when
Yeah. He
he's
moving his
starting at
feet.
the 3-point line. Hartenstein's like anticipating his little spins and other
Hmm.
stuff.
Yep.
You're right, and he doesn't have just like a fadeaway. I mean, it's kind of weird for him because he kind of just jump and be above everybody.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
yeah, something that he's drilling on, something that he's practicing on that becomes kinda, like, automatic, hand in his
Mhm.
face, no matter doesn't matter because he's just done it so much. It's just, body, what are your
Yeah. Muscle
remembering
memory.
your body remembering its
Yeah.
need. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like you said, if he's in the post, he turns around and, he can either reach and dunk it or either reach and just throw it in. Like either way, it's easy points, quick points, especially when you need it. If you need 4 quick buckets, go ahead and go to the post and get those 4 and stop trying to shoot 3. Like, I mean, I understand you're tall and everything, but if you're gonna shoot those threes, you need to follow your shot. You still tall enough to do that too. You can take those steps and come and try to reach the ball, tip it up in the air to the point where you can get it, just dunk it in. But it's it's more him just overthinking it. And like I tell everybody too, if they don't win, he's gonna work on something to make sure he gets back to this point again next year. And he's not gonna let it happen. But
A
I
go-to
just feel,
move. That would
yeah,
be good. Yeah.
not even
Good
just not
good
even just a go
idea.
move, not even just a go to move, but he's gonna work on his game even harder because he's gonna make sure that he's not gonna just let this happen, slip behind him if he lose this series and they go and OKC goes to the finals. If they do, he's gonna have vengeance, but he's also going to make sure that they go to the championship next year because of him. Because he felt like he let the team down, and he's gonna work on that.
And I think if they lose this game, if they lose this series, I think they just had a real missed opportunity in game 5.
Yeah.
Um, that's a game. If they win that, they close it out in game 6 and they're on to the finals. There are a few things about that game. Just want to go through some notes. So, Fox was off. Um, and the Spurs actually went on a big run in the third when they took him out.
Hmm.
Fox was off also last night. Pretty terrible numbers,
Yeah.
but he didn't turn the ball over and he had a lot of assists. So he's
He's
still
still
helping
hurt.
out the team, even
He's
though,
still hurt.
yeah, I think he's still hurting.
I think that's another thing too. Like a lot of people saying that they need to trade Fox. I mean, I don't see they need to trade Fox just now because they still have a core. They have a team, and if you're gonna replace him, what are you gonna replace him with? Because you're gonna need another veteran that can control the ball and that has that decision making. I mean, don't get me wrong, Castle and Harper, you can start with them, whatnot, but you still need that veteran all-star that Fox is, because he's still an all-star. He's been having numbers, and everything. But when the playoffs come, when you're trying to put your all in it, that's what Fox has been doing. He's been putting his all in it and just been getting hurt. So I mean, that plays a part in the game. So I mean, when you
I
when you're hurt,
I think
you
like
can't do too much.
maybe some of that chatter, Doug, is that Fox being in there might be holding back Harper and holding back Harper's development.
He not. They can play.
What's
All
that?
three of them can play together. All three of them can play together.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose. But at some point you need somebody who's more of a end effector on the ball as opposed to a creator.
Yeah, but
Mm.
I mean, but point guards run the world, man. You got to understand that they gonna get on everybody about what needs to be done, and that's what Fox is. Fox is really a facilitator because if you think about it, when he played with the Kings, he really didn't have nobody, so he definitely was scoring all the time. And now he finally has players that really can, do stuff. So now he's learning how to change his role as a point guard and really look out for his players. Like you said, he had no turnovers, but he had assists. He just got to learn how to, be consistent too, far as, let me get these 15 that we need, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the assist and play defense and steal the ball and everything. Because he does play good on defense. That's one thing I can't say. He does play good defense. He's he's a leader, but it's it's if you want to keep this team together, just like how OKC kept their team together. Who else? The Golden State. They kept all their players when they were going back to back, winning and everything. Is you got to keep that chemistry instead of changing it up. But if you got to, I mean, it's gonna be more. If you get rid of Fox, it's really gonna be more on Wemby to really lead this team, and really gonna
Well,
have to
let,
do.
let me let me just give my opinion on this. So I think that they structured Fox's contract such that it'll expire once they need to start paying, Harper, I think. And
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
think I think it's 2 more years, and I think that that's good. I think, like, even if I think they could put Harper in the starting role, and you
Mhm.
still need a a backup. I mean, you still need a backup point guard running the show, and maybe
Yeah.
Fox has to transition to that role. If that's too difficult given his stature or whatever, then maybe you
You have to
trade
trade him.
him.
Yeah.
But I think, unless you're getting like an elite 3 and D guy like a Trey Murphy or something,
Mhm.
I need to think of another guy for that example because I always use him. But I wouldn't. I don't know that they necessarily have any missing pieces. Maybe a scoring four, but I don't know in modern NBA that that's even a good
What, a decent size?
chance
You
that
mean
you
a
would
decent
want
size big?
necessarily.
Like a decent size 4 that can score and rebound and everything?
Yeah, I think there's some coming in the draft, and
Yeah.
yeah, like those Chris Webbers or Carlos Boozer types. But
You know
that's
Spurs gonna
kind
find
of
somebody.
those guys have kind of gone out of the league a little bit,
Mhm.
and I don't know that they necessarily. Yeah, I wouldn't go for that. I was just like trying to think of archetypes that they don't have,
Yeah.
but they would need a backup point guard no matter what. So if they
But
got rid of Fox,
yeah. This draft
they
class
would need.
though, this draft class is pretty good. So I mean, they might find a diamond in the rough when they draft a player, just like how they did
Yeah,
with Johnson,
but that'll
the
take
Johnson
like a
brothers.
year or two to develop.
Yeah,
So, like, I wouldn't get rid of Fox, and maybe he transitions a little more to a backup
a
role,
backup. Yeah, he could do that too.
which is, he's way overqualified for. But, I think like think of it like the Manu Ginobili, right? He was a backup, but
Hmm.
he's
Yeah.
also Hall of Famer, one of the greatest Spurs of all time. So, definitely that's happened before.
Hmm.
Crusoe was awesome in that game 5. Crusoe, some people are saying is like the MVP of the series for OKC.
Yeah. Just like Andre Iguodala was, how he was, and then you was like,
Yeah, it's a little like
I didn't.
that.
Yeah, because I definitely didn't expect
He
Andre
does
Iguodala.
just seem really impactful. Like,
Yeah,
just everything he's doing is like positive.
it's all defense
And
though. His defense turns into offense. So it's that's how I always try to tell everybody, you gotta play defense first to get that offense. Because if you don't get that offense started, and you can't do it, if you're not a true offensive scorer, you got to get it on defense to get your offense. So that's how I take it. Because I always
yeah.
play good defense. Because you get your steals,
Well,
you
he's
get your
like, yeah, I
everything.
mean, he's like a defensive specialist almost. So,
Hmm.
like, that's obviously his focus.
I know LeBron miss him.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think, like I said, there's a missed opportunity that game 5. OKC didn't have AJ Mitchell or Jay Dub.
Yeah.
And Wimby just wasn't aggressive enough. And also Harper wasn't aggressive enough. If you look
Hmm.
at his stat line,
Yeah, he
he
didn't
didn't
have a
take
good
any
game.
shots that second game.
Yeah. But last game
Yeah,
he did.
1 for 5. So that was a missed opportunity. So we'll see if that comes back to bite him.
Yeah.
Who you got in
Game
game
tomorrow.
7?
I'm gonna go with OKC. I feel
Yeah.
like OKC is gonna win at home. The Nuns not coming to from San Antonio to OKC, and I think it's just
But
gonna
can't
be it.
God travel with them though? Come on.
I mean, he always traveling with them. He's always traveling with them. But they making it seem like the Nuns is there. You can't take pictures of the man himself upstairs because you can't see him. But the Nuns, they taking many pictures and using them as examples.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
even
I
like
seen.
gods in the audience dressed as nuns. My
Yeah,
buddy was saying that's sacrilegious. Can't do that.
they did at OKC. They did that at OKC. So I remember seeing that. I was like, oh my god, they is really doing too much. I think I seen a video this morning too. They were showing the ladies from the game yesterday. They was outside shooting the hoops. Coming some, yeah, we're
Really?
ready for the game.
That's awesome, man.
I was like, oh my goodness. They was over there shooting. They were shooting too. They were shooting long shots and everything. I was like, oh my goodness, these ladies can play basketball.
I think that it's gonna matter. I think the refs matter. I want to see who the refs are, frankly. I saw some buzzes, Tony Brothers. If it's Tony Brothers again, I'd definitely go for the
I mean,
Thunder.
okay, see,
If it's like Scott Foster, Scott Foster likes to blow that whistle. I don't know what his history is with the Thunder. He's usually not very helpful for the home team, I would say, because he kind of calls the game actually even. But it's kind of funny. Actually, you know what? In my research is showing San Antonio has drawn more fouls over this series.
Mhm. Because they've been a
Uh,
lot more aggressive, and then, Wemby's helping out too with that too, so
yeah, yeah. I mean that definitely. You got a big man like that, he
mhm.
should be higher on that stat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think frankly the refs matter. I think that really affects Shea's game.
You know what I really think? I think me and you need to go ahead and put a bid on being a ref for the last game,
Oh
and
man,
then we gotta
I
have
know what
somebody
I would
else.
do.
We gotta so that means you would've had the Spurs going to the finals because then you already picked them to go.
Probably, yeah. Don't hire me as a ref, guys. I wouldn't be biased. There'd be some special on me.
Yeah. Well, where did he come from?
No, I would just call the game the way it's meant to be played, and that's a push off. Dang
That was
it.
push. Look,
Yeah.
as long as he don't
All that
extend all the
Hardenstein
way out.
grabbing arms crap, that's
Oh, you
also
the
illegal.
constant. So you would have had him fouled out then. He would have fouled out probably in the first quarter.
All right, wait. There's something I want to bring. Yeah, man. There's something I want to bring up to you is this Chet Holmgren, man. So like Chet Holmgren has been like on the ground on his knees and getting pushed, shoved by Darren Fox.
He's
Last
not big
game,
enough.
Devin Vassell blocked him and then was like pushing him and talking smack. And I'm like, come on, Chet, stand up for yourself, man. Sheesh.
Chet got to eat some more Wheaties or something because it's it's not it, man. And the thing, I see when I used to see Chet growing up, like pooping and everything. I thought he was going to be a little bit bigger. I was like, I said that was going to be his one weakness if he doesn't gain any weight. And he's getting pushed around still. For him to be tall, he's still getting pushed around, and he's not using his leverage either. So it's like you're getting advantage of by smaller guards, bigger people, all of them. It's not a good look on you. You got to beef up. You got to do something. And then Wemby has gotten bigger since they were when they were younger and has you know progressed and just became this player where Chet is just I feel like he just contained with just being in the NBA but not being a star.
I mean, it's weird to say this about a big man, but it's almost like he needs an enforcer there, like maybe a Lou Dort or something to get in these guys' faces when they're. I
Yeah,
mean, you can't just go pushing my teammate. There's a little
yeah,
bit of that too.
yeah.
But yeah, it's weird because he's a 7-footer.
Yeah, but Chet's he
Anyway,
gotta get bigger. Because I thought like listen, I've noticed this too, and there's a lot of things they've been saying about this as far as with the European players. They are basketball lovers, and when they figure out how to progress and make their games a little bit better compared to us American players. We're consistent on doing one thing or just trying to get everything together. Where now it's you're seeing more of the European players being the stars compared to some of the American players. And we haven't had a American NBA MVP in a while since what? Who was the last one? Can't even think. It's been a
LeBron?
while.
No,
I feel
Steph?
Steph or either. Mm, it's been. I've seen especially with Joker. Joker has progressed a lot. He's been in the league. You didn't know who he was when he was playing. He was just an extra body on Denver Nuggets bench, coming out and playing. And then he progressed, and he's a MVP 3 time. Should have been four, but he didn't get it. But rebound,
Harden
assist.
was the last in 2018.
See, that's yeah. See, that's been a long time.
My
Yeah,
boy Harden.
yeah. So it's been a long time. So it's one thing. Brunson really has. I'd say Brunson has really made a difference for the Americans, and I feel like he's going to be the
That
next
guy
person
works on
that's
his
going.
game for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and he definitely does. He's been doing it since he was little, and his dad been forcing it into his head though. So I mean, like we said before, when he played against the Sixers, the Sixers had his dad on their team, and they released him and everything, and he had to get back for his dad, but you know his dad has been in his head, making sure he progress and do better than what he did in the
Yeah,
league
that's
too.
a bit
So,
of an anomaly having like a former NBA player dad and
mhm,
coach. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because with
Well,
Harper too, Harper's the same way. You know, his dad influenced his game too, but the other Harper brother that played for the Celtics, he got a contract, so he got into the league with them and with the Celtics and everything, but he's not a top notch player like his little brother is. But you know, certain NBA dads, you know, you can tell that their kids is trying to be better than what their dads were or do similar things. So I mean, it's it it hurts my feelings when I see, you know, our American players not really dominating like we supposed to. We dominate when we go into the Olympics, but when we come to the NBA, the European players take over in the league.
I mean, we
And
barely won in the Olympics, man. It
I
was
know.
close.
Oh,
And we
I
were
know.
going with our
Oh, I
like
know.
40-year-old and 37-year-old dudes. I mean, those guys aren't going to be in the next Olympics.
But I feel like that's gonna be the thing though. That's what I'm saying. Like
I
in
think
the
we're
Olympics
probably going to
next
lose
year.
that next
Yeah.
Olympics, man.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
might we might get bronze to be honest with you. If they're not gonna play how Jordan and LeBron and Kobe and Dwight, how they didn't give I'm sorry, excuse my language, but they didn't give a damn. They were bullying and beating everybody. If our players can't do that, then it's gonna be a problem. We're gonna be, you know, until somebody comes in and, you know, decides to just take over and, we're not gonna let this happen. But until then, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that goes. But
We're
I need
definitely
our
going to
American
see.
players.
It's definitely going to
I
be
definitely
interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Drink. Everybody drink.
See, look, I was trying not to say it, but you got me. You got me.
No, you didn't actually say it. I coaxed you into it. Well, I think our hear that American players. Doug says, step it up.
Step your game.
Step
Step your
it
game
up.
up.
Work on your games. All right, Doug. Well, let's do some little predictions, man. Okay. I want you to give me your predictions if the Thunder win or if the Spurs win for the next round against the Knicks.
Mm. So if the Spurs win and they play against the Knicks, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give it a Spurs in 6 over the
All
Knicks.
right. Spurs in 6. All right. What about the Thunder?
And if I give it the Thunder, I'm gonna go with Knicks and 6.
Knicks in 6 over
Yeah,
Thunder.
yeah.
Now, why do you say that?
Only reason why I say that is because, the Knicks are hungry. They really, really, really are hungry, and everybody's really, clicking together and trying to run the numbers up on everybody. And the teams that they play, they 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 had some tough teams, they did, but it was it was more of them messing with themselves, especially when they played against Atlanta in that first series. You know, they let New York. I mean, they let New York let Atlanta win a couple of games, and then they finally started clicking. You got them out the way. Then they went to the Sixers and made it easy because the Sixers don't have too many people that can stop them. So it was that. But when they play against OKC, they line up with OKC. But like I said, with Chet, he's gonna get bullied from OG. I feel like OG would do it, and Cat would be able to be the ones that would force him to fumble and everything. And then Brunson, he's not going to guard SGA though, but he's going to guard somebody. Probably going to guard Luke Dorton, so he can get his easy chance on defense to chill. But it's probably going to be either a bridge or a hard guarding SGA, so they're going to give him a hard time. Another top notch defensive players that's going to give SGA a hard time, and it will make it a lot easier for them to win that series compared to beating the Spurs. With Wemby's going to take advantage of Cat, and he's gonna go at Cat's neck. And
Yeah, I think it'll bring up like Cat's bad side. We
yeah,
haven't seen that in this last series. You know,
I don't think we've seen none of this series.
Mobley was okay. Like he kind of did his
Yeah,
thing, but it never was like enough to get Cat out of. Cat
his
really
game.
kind of didn't do much, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, not
yeah,
scoring wise,
but he
And that was
played.
kind of a good thing, to be
Yeah.
honest. The Knicks have kind of taken the knucklehead out of him by
Hmm.
he's not quite. They let him throw some passes from the post, a high
Yeah.
post, and that's I think keeping him happy. And whatever this thing that Mike Brown did with the holding people accountable, I guess they had to sign some accountability
Hmm.
form document or something. And I don't know, maybe that stuff's starting to work for Cat because he didn't really like he didn't. I mean, you look at his scores; he has like 13 points a game or something. Like,
Yeah, he not
so
doing
he
too
didn't really
much.
contribute that much, but he at least didn't contribute much in the negative.
Yeah, it's more defense.
But
They
against
got him playing
Wemby,
defense
he's
more.
gonna have to be he's gonna be front and center. It'd be like a baseball pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, yeah,
So that could be that could be bad.
yeah.
Putting Cat in any kind of pressure cooker that could be
And then you think
bad.
about the defense too of the Spurs. They're gonna keep that pressure, and they know how to handle dealing with superstars that are ball dominant and also leads the team. So if they beat OKC, they already got the plan of how they're gonna handle Brunson too. So I mean, that's the only thing that I could say that if the Spurs play against New York, that they will win because their defense hasn't failed. If they win the series, if they win the series, they won everything because they did it against SGA, they did it against Ant. So, I mean, those are the main two you gotta put up there because those are top notch scores, and for you to shut them down,
I would have liked to see Joker, man.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I don't know. The Joker versus them, that would have been interesting, man.
it
We
would have
we
been.
were
But I
deprived
feel
of
like,
that.
but I feel like it that would have been a. I feel like that would have been a sweep because all they got to worry about is Joker, and Joker's a half court, so they would have to run him. They
No,
would run
no,
him.
no,
They
no,
would
no
run him.
way. They had trouble with them in the regular season.
Yeah.
But speaking of regular season records, the Thunder beat the Knicks twice. One of the games was
Mhm.
like in March. One of them was a 103 to 100, so that was a close one. I think that the current version of the Thunder that are missing AJ Mitchell and J Dub, I think that Jalen Brunson could probably hunt McCain. So McCain,
Mm.
if he's starting, he's a weak link
Yeah.
defensively.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that Jalen Brunson, I think, could score a lot.
Take
If you don't
advantage of.
have that McCain thing, I think it's harder. There's no one for Brunson to hunt. I think he can still get some points, but they really play. We're just watching them, especially playing those Cavs. They were just hunting Harden every time, just whatever. Whoever's Harden's
Yeah.
man, just switch him on. And the
And
Knicks are
take
really good
advantage
at
of.
that. And Brunson is still the focal point of their offense, even though these other guys are scoring efficiently and
Hmm.
stuff. I think Brunson's the hub that makes it all go. So that could be you know a way for the Knicks to get up on that one. The Spurs really don't have any bad defenders that I can think of.
No,
I mean,
they
there's
don't.
nowhere for
You can't break that. You
Brunson to
can't break it
switch
down.
to. He's gonna have to
Nah.
beat these guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody's taller than him, but he's definitely like I said, he's gonna be
Maybe
the vet.
Fox, but Fox can
Nah.
sneak and steal that
Yeah.
ball from you.
He ain't gonna let that happen either. So that's why I say their defense is nasty. The
Fox is
Spurs
slight
defense,
though. I guess maybe Brunson could get some on Fox.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might be able to get a
They
little
don't
something.
even need to play Fox, right? Because they got
Yeah.
Harper, they got Castle. Castle, I've just been so impressed by Castle and Vassell's defense on SGA. Just keeping this guy under 20 points. I mean, the guy wasn't under 20 points for like a year and a half or something crazy like
Hmm.
that. And then they do it. They've done it 3 times this series. That's impressive,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, the Spurs,
All
the
right.
Spurs got it.
Well, thanks for those picks. I'll give my official picks once it's done. I wanted to switch up to the lottery reform. So the league passed this lottery reform proposal. You guys can look it up. Now, here at Droppin Dimes, we dropped our own lottery reform proposal weeks before the league even proposed. That it was leaked, that the league's proposal was leaked. So there's one. Our proposals were very similar, actually, but there's
Mm.
one key difference I wanted to highlight. The league, and for all the listeners, please look at our YouTube video. We have a YouTube video of the proposal. Check that out. I think that's all from like episode 3, I believe. But there's also a special YouTube link to it, and I'll put the link in the show notes. But basically, there's one key is this idea of what to do when when you win a draft pick, your future draft picks. This basically limiting teams being able to win the first pick X years in a row, or the top 5 picks. So in the league's lottery form, they say you can't have more than 2 top 5 picks in 3 straight years. And I had something very similar to that. Now, but what the league is doing is they're keeping that with the team, with the draft pick that originally owned the team that originally owned the draft pick. So this has ended up screwing over Memphis because they got Utah's draft pick. Utah was in the top 5 the last 2 years. So now Memphis won't get any lottery balls for the top 5 this year with that pick from Memphis. And the way my proposal is that the team drafting, it affects the team drafting. So it's the team that holds the draft pick on draft night. And I think that this is a much better way to do it because we don't want to restrict Memphis wasn't, didn't win those 2 lottery picks. Utah did, right? And so, just regardless, I'm just saying, regardless of the fact that, this all happened this trade happened before the lottery reform, etc. Like all that screws Memphis too. But just for the rule going forward, if you teams like to draft like 4 or 5 picks in a row or something for years and years, right? And so with the way that the NBA structured this, those draft picks that they send out could become worse for the after sending them out, just because the team that's sending them out might win in the first or second or third, might win those lotteries. And so that's kind of weird. And that's why I wanted to base it around the team that's actually drafting, because the real thing we want to get away from is we want this lottery luck for the team that's actually drafting, right? We want to get away from this Spurs getting 3 top 5 picks in a row, or previous teams doing this in the past. And so I think now on the NBA side, there is a little bit of an argument for the NBA side. So the NBA side is that, the Jazz, for instance, had these 2 picks. So now their future draft picks are lower. And so when they trade those, I think if everyone only traded, 1 draft pick in the future, then it would be like, okay, this is a depreciated asset. So that way they can't make their draft pick into now a great asset that can get any draft pick. It's kind of like lowering their, however, really it's hurting the team that they traded to. And because teams do all these future draft picks, you're not going to be able to kind of keep that away. Doug, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like it should go like this: top 5 get the back end every year. The top 5 always get the last 5 picks. They should do it like that to make it easier, so you can keep rotating everybody, and then they just keep going down the list. But you know,
You think
you
the
know,
top 5 finishers should get the top 5 draft picks?
no, the top 5. Like let's say the top 5 of this year. They don't get top 5. They don't get nothing in next year. They get the 30th. Was it 30, 29, 28? Always they get the back end. They get the back end, and then for the next year, for the top 5, they come in and they go behind. So make it easier make it easy for us. So it's gonna be a long time till they get the top 5 again and everything, to make it
Interesting.
easier
So
for
you're talking about more of like a
a
rotation type
snake 'em.
system. So like
Yeah, yeah,
each
a snake it.
team, kind of like every 6 years, you can be in the top 5, basically, because
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
30 teams,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
something
And the
like
top,
that. So it's less, so not based upon the draft order
right,
or
right.
teams.
Because
Yeah.
it would hurt, because it hurts, just like how, like I the the uh, the Celtics when they did the Paul Pierce and KG trade to Brooklyn. and they got Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brown. I said Jalen Brunson, Tatum, Jason Tatum, and Brown in that trade. So I mean, and that was back to back years when they had the first round picks. So I mean that plays a part too. So get that out the way. You don't have to worry about that every year. Figuring out, are they going to get the draft pick again? Are they going to get number one? Just like how the Spurs did. Spurs got Castle and got Wemby. So I mean, it like we talked before. We hate seeing teams get all the good players, and some of the other teams that try to tank to get that, they don't get it at all because they don't have the numbers, or they don't get those numbers. Just like how Charlotte was expected to get Anthony Davis. They didn't get the first round pick. The Pelicans got it, and they had to go with MJ. I mean, Kid Gilchrist. I can't say his
They
name,
didn't
but
have to
yeah,
go with Kid Gilchrist. They
I
really
know,
didn't
but
have
they,
to.
but that's
That
what
was
they did,
MJ's
though. I
own
mean,
fault.
yeah, but they was on the same team, so that's why they got them, because they both won a championship, national title together. But I wouldn't have done that either. But
No.
it's just how the NBA sets it up, and then
You can
they
talk a
make it.
lot. People can talk a lot of crap about Bradley Beal, but at
I
least he
wanted
had a
them to get.
better jumper than
I
MKG, man.
that's who I wanted Charlotte to get. That's who I wanted them to get, because I was like, we need to
Yeah.
score. We need to score. Let's get this man. But they ain't not hiring me. They not paying me the big bucks to do that. So if I could do it, if I could done it, some of those picks that Charlotte picked, I don't think we would have been in the lottery as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of like the worst teams being able to get better. So I mean that's one reason I don't like a straight rotation that has nothing to do
Hmm.
with record. I want those worst teams to have a chance.
Hmm.
I also don't like the idea of like this year, these 5 teams, because then draft picks themselves can be like, oh, I'm gonna skip this year because I don't want to go
Yeah.
to any of these
Yeah. I'm gonna
teams.
wait till
I'm
they
gonna
come back.
wait until the following year. I don't
Hmm.
like I don't want them to I don't want, like, as a fan of, like, let's say the Wizards or the Hornets, or especially like the Wizards, I don't want some prospect to be like, oh no, I'm gonna skip this year so I don't have to go to the Wizards.
Hmm.
Like that. I mean, just as a fan, that sucks. I mean, I get,
Yeah.
like, as a prospect, you're probably like, yeah, I want to go to the place that's best for me, and it's super
Yep.
weird. Like in my job, I can pick whatever company I want to go work for,
Yeah.
right?
That's how they do it in the NFL too. They do that mess in the NFL. A lot of players that do that too. Like, you know what? I don't want to play for the Jets. Let me go back to school. It's like, just go ahead and play for the Jets, man. They probably gonna be sorry next year.
Oh yeah, they do that after they're drafted.
Yeah,
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 like the Eli Manning did that to
yeah.
San Diego.
But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, since because they're talking about with y'all, the Wizards, they talking about, they might trade that first round to the Utah for the second round pick, but also take Ace Bailey too. So I mean, they talking about a lot of that because Ace Bailey wanted to go to Washington last year, and now AJ don't want to go to Washington. He want to go to Utah and stay in Utah. But it's a lot of he say she say, and then if you're gonna come to this team, just be mature and just go ahead and ball out. I mean, you can or you can pull a Kobe. I don't want to play for y'all. Trade me.
So that's what Obi did to Charlotte.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to stay in Charlotte. He didn't want to get drafted by Charlotte, but you draft me,
He's a
trade
very
me.
willful person, Kobe. Yeah,
Yeah,
was
but this.
interesting. So that's why they traded for D-Buds. All right, guys. Well, please, yeah, check out my lottery proposal and let me know if people have any thoughts on that. It's kind of the opposite of what the league did. The I was saying that it's the team that wins the pick on draft night is the team who's holding the pick on draft night. That's what affects um any restrictions, and I still think that's the best way to go because it is actually doing the thing that we want and keeping those teams from repeating their picks. But there's could be arguments other ways. Anyway, good pod, Doug, and I hope this 7th game is better, man. I gotta say, after those first games in the East and West, those first games were such fire. Oh man,
Yeah,
so amazing, and the rest of the games have been,
been
a little
interesting.
bit more duds. Gosh, last game was just a blowout. So
They going to
I just
overtime
hope.
this game.
I mean, yeah, overtime be nice, whatever. Let's just get it down to the wire. Both teams, everybody just competing hard,
Yeah, put everything
and
on the
let's
line.
keep the refs keep out of it, man. I do
Yeah,
like when the refs keep out of it.
let it be a fair game. Let it be a fair game.
Amen. All right, everyone. Like, subscribe, 5-star. Peace out.
And follow us on the Instagram, dropping dimes _guys.
Drum dimes _ guys. All right. Cheers.
Peace.